Good afternoon, automotive enthusiasts, as well as Audi S3 Fanatics. It's Peter, your Audi S3 Fanatic. Today, I'm going to go ahead and come at you guys with a topic that has been going on for many years. I wanted to go ahead and bring it onto my channel here, so perhaps we can get a little discussion going on about this specific topic. Now, what I wanted to go ahead and discuss today is the breakdown between whether you should go with an ECU Flash or a tune, or should you guys consider a piggyback unit. I'll go ahead and break down the advantages of both as well as the disadvantages, and hopefully that will provide enough information for you guys to make an educated decision on your specific vehicle. Now, again, this is not specific to Audi. I know that BMW also has different products that work, and I believe some other manufacturers such as Subaru is the same method. So without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and kind of chit-chat about some of the experiences that I have had with either one, and hopefully provide you guys again with enough information to help you make a good choice for your car. So the first thing we'll go ahead and discuss today is the aspects of an ECU Flash or tune. Now, essentially, what is that? On an elementary level, what it is, it's essentially software that is installed on top of your ECU per se, and it grabs as much data and parameters from the ECU as possible to help your car run at a much higher performance level. That means it is considering all aspects like boost, intake temperature, fueling, all that kind of sort of stuff to again make your car run much stronger. Now, taking a look at the advantages of an ECU Flash tune, companies like APR, Integrated Engineering, Revo, as well as Boot Mod for the BMW side, those companies have spent a tremendous amount of R&D into designing the software package. So you're not just taking a look at a couple of sensors, you're pretty much taking a look at every possible parameter that the ECU puts out that these companies will use to make the best possible tune for your car. Now, I think another positive aspect with the tune is the fact that there are companies out there that make the tune customizable in terms of using a dyno where you can adjust a couple things to really maximize your tune for your car. Now, the negative aspects of going with a tune is, for one, if you have a warranty intact on your car, manufacturers have placed on the ECU program side the capability for it to detect that you have actually flashed your car. And what that happens at that point is you take it into service, they see that you've had that flashed, you have now voided your powertrain warranty. So that is a big factor in tuning your car. Now, another thing about the ECU tune that some people don't necessarily like is the fact that it's expensive. You've got some tunes that will range into $700–800 into $1,200–1,300. So ECU Flash / tunes are definitely not cheap to that factor. Now, the last disadvantage that I wanted to talk about with the ECU tune and flash is the fact that it is not easily removable. Now, with a caveat, there are some manufacturers that have dongles that allow you to do flashes at home and such, but a majority of manufacturers, you have to go to a dealer to get your car tuned, and if you want to remove it, you got to go back to the dealership to get it untuned. And obviously there's always going to be a level of service cost to to pay for it. So it's not as easy as just simply removing it and putting it back on. On the flip side of ECU tunes/flashes, you have what are called piggyback units. Now, what is a piggyback unit? A piggyback unit is a specific little box that has a microprocessor that attaches to several different sensors within your engine bay. And what it does, it essentially tricks or intercepts the signals from the sensors, and then it sends it to the ECU at a different parameter or level. And what that does is that fools your ECU into thinking that there are certain parameters, and that helps you create more power. Now, what are some of the advantages that we are looking at for an ECU piggyback unit? For one, the cost. It is very inexpensive. You have companies like Dynon, New Speed. You also have Chipworks out there, and one of the biggest ones that I have used is Berger Motorsports or /BMS. They create piggyback units that are very cost effective. For my S3, it essentially cost me about $400 compared to $700 for a tune. So cost definitely has the advantage for going with the piggyback unit. Now, the other advantage that I personally like about the piggyback unit is it is completely removable. You can essentially totally DIY it for the install and for the deinstall. So if you needed to have your car serviced, you can go ahead and remove it, and at that point your car is very safe to have it looked at by the dealership. Now, keep in mind, the ECU in itself has a lot of record keeping, and no matter what product that you use, whether it's an ECU flash or tune or a piggyback unit, it's going to record specific parameters such as boost. So I will say with the caveat that piggyback units are not 100% undetectable, but they do have a safety factor that I believe is much better than an ECU tune. So if you have a manufacturer's warranty, that's probably the route to go. Now, some of the driving factors that are disadvantages for the piggyback unit is, one, because it is essentially tapping into a few sensors within your engine module, it is not going to be as comprehensive compared to an ECU flash. So you're not going to get the peak performance, I'll say that, compared to an ECU flash. Now, the other stigma behind a piggyback unit is the fact that people think that it doesn't make as much power as an ECU flash or tune. Now, that's something that I will go into in just a little bit, but I will say that is a myth to a certain point, and again, we'll talk about that shortly. Warranty. Now, earlier we had talked about a disadvantage of the piggyback unit making less power, and I'm going to kind of bring this back into light. A lot of people will believe that the piggyback unit makes a lot less power. Any manufacturer out there, whether it's an ECU tune or a piggyback unit, the data that they give you guys to take a look at, like your dyno charts and all that, it's going to be marketing material. I personally believe there's not going to be one manufacturer that is going to be phenomenally better than another one in producing power. Sure, you might have one manufacturer that is a little more aggressive than the other one, and it might give you 5 or 10 horsepower difference between the tunes, but you're not going to get one that, say, let's say they create a tune that gives you 100 more horsepower, and then one that is 50 more horsepower, and they're both priced the same. So no, that's just not going to be the case. If you were to do a baseline comparison and then do a dyno of all the different tunes and the piggyback units out there, I really believe there's going to be a small deviation between all of the tunes, because again, they're using the same type of data and creating the same amount of power that might be 5 or 10 horsepower difference. So is it worth it to go with one tune because the marketing tells you such and such compared to another one? I really don't think so. I really do believe that they're all going to be very similar. Now, I've even heard of people say that, hey, I went from a piggyback unit over a tune and I could feel a huge difference in power. Sure, one manufacturer may make the torque curve a little more aggressive than another manufacturer that makes you feel like the car is faster, but in all honesty, the bottom line between all of them, they're going to be very comparable. So the decision for you guys to choose an ECU Flash or tune compared to a piggyback unit, I think it really breaks down to a few factors. One, if you have the funds to pick the right one. Two, if you are by a supporting dealer that might be able to flash and unflash you. Three, if you're able to DIY yourself the piggyback unit. And then four, if you have a warranty. So those are going to be big factors that will help you decide what you really want to do. Now, I apologize in advance, guys, if my information has confused you even more. Again, it's not simply telling you, well, I think this is great, go with this, or this product is better, go with that. There's truly a lot of different factors into making the right choice for your car. Now, if you have further questions, feel free to go ahead and post your comment below. I will do my very best to reply to you guys and kind of give you my input on the matter. This is going to be Peter, your Audi S3 Fanatic, signing off until the next time, my friends.